What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Are you doing, Scott? Looking well, tanned
All
up?
good, all good. Got a bit of a tan now. Did a bit of sunbathing at the weekend, and so can't argue.
You moved out here, or you just working?
No, just working, just working. Training a fighter from 2023. I was linked with a lad who lives out here. He'd had an amateur fight and he didn't go too well his amateur fight. And a mutual friend of ours connected us. So I come at I think it was back in the January 2023, and I've been working with him since then. And so it's yeah, give us a ring. And then ever since we've just been working together, and Joe putting now on his boxing journey, and he turned professional last year in November.
Okay, what's the aspirations for this guy? You know, how you want to move him, etc.
I mean, obviously the end goal. If his mindset wasn't to become a world champion, then I wouldn't want to. I won't be working with him. And again, you can do everything right, and still not make it to the. But you've got to have those sort of aspirations, because the way I was as a fighter, if you ain't 110% dedicated, you ain't going anywhere. So, like I say, his aspirations. Everybody wants to be. Anyone who starts boxing wants to become a world champion. Or that should be the goal. And wherever the journey takes us, if he gives 110% and he stays dedicated, he'll go as far as he can.
Yeah, fair play on that. Are you still, keeping eyes on boxing? Do you still watch a lot of the shows that go on? Anyone that you got a keen eye on watching, following the career of?
To be fair, other than obviously the lads back over in the UK, George and Gallagher's, obviously were. I still go in there and help out when I'm back over there, or still pop in and see them all. So other than when the lads from the gym back home are fighting, but other than that, when the big fights are on, or something that interests me, but I'm not actually one of them that is like watches boxing religiously, regarding the shows around today. It doesn't really interest me. Obviously, you look at where certain fights that come up and you think, oh, so it would be a good fight. But I'm not really. I don't watch boxing the way I did when I was fighting.
Ever fancied a career in punditry? Obviously, your former opponent Carl Frampton's like full on TV. But you ever fancied doing any of that kind of stuff?
I mean, I've never been the best talker. Do you know what I mean? Over the years, I mean, I'm more comfortable just talking because I don't really care whatever I say. But I was never the best talker. Carl's actually a very good pundit, very good pundit. I like listening to him. He obviously knows the sport, knows the game, so he's good to listen to. It's something that, yeah, I mean, I could try, but it's not something that I'm overly interested in as such. But no, like I say, these are all different things. But I'm more of in the gym. I'll work with someone. If someone wants to give 110%, I don't care how far they can go, or as long as they want to be the best they can be. Boxing is a dangerous game. I don't care what level. There was a show the other week. Jamie from Grassroots, he fought on it, but there's all different levels. It doesn't matter what level. If you're gonna step into that ring, you can't be playing at it, because you can get hurt. And that's what I always stand for, and that's why I say I can't just train anybody unless you're going to give it 110%. Won't be working with. Even when I'm sometimes I'm out here and someone else, someone who just wants to keep fit, and I'm like, that's all we put us on the pads. After about 10 minutes, he ate it, because no, do it right. You know, I'm not one of them. You know, I could only train certain people, so no, I'm enjoying that out here though, so I can't really complain.
Well, I was with Joe Gallagher the other day, and we was talking about his legacy in boxing, and I've seen it is a mark of a good trainer if fighters that you've trained end up becoming trainers.
Yeah.
And Joe's got a lot that have obviously like yourself that have become trainers and doing it. So I'm just curious, when you're training fighters, are you teaching them things that you've learned from Joe, or do you? I've got your own thing.
No, see, this is obviously I was fortunate to have worked with Joe for all the most successful part of my career. I was fortunate to have the foundation built from Brian Hughes. I still don't believe I would have gone on to achieve what I did if it wasn't for the start with Brian Hughes, and then that foundation that was built prior to going to Joe, because it was so solid. Joe could just build and build and build on top of that, and like I say, without Brian Hughes and Joe Gallagher, I would not have achieved the half of what I did go on to achieve. And I like I say, I learned so much from Joe, and I still do it. And it's not that the way I was as a fighter, Joe, the way my mind works. And listen, boxing's all or nothing. I sacrificed family time. I didn't socialise. Boxing was put first, and Joe did the exact same as a coach. He put his fighters first. Sometimes at the detriment, to his family time and stuff. And when that's why I think me and Joe worked as well. Because when someone puts that much effort in as a coach, when a coach wants it more than a fighter, yeah, there's a problem. But if the coach wants it as much as the fighter, then I think it's a recipe for success.
You're talking about that. What's you said there's some things you learned from Joe. What's the biggest thing you learned from him? But maybe not in boxing terms. Maybe as a person.
Uh, do you know, in it's
Not an easy question.
no, it's not. And in the answer I'm going to give, some people might, I don't know if it'll come across right, come across wrong, or whatever. Joe were very selfish, yeah, for his lads. The work Joe put in, and the time that he give to to being the best coach he could be, yeah. Which maybe of some people who don't have that mindset would think that was wrong. Like he put boxing, in his coaching career first, before family events and certain things, and I've done the exact same. There was what do you call it before I fought Stephen Jamoy. My uncle, my mum's brother, passed away, and we delayed his funeral until after my fight, so I could go, because people knew how focused and how some say some would say it was bad, like, but how focused and how selfish I was, that what mattered to me was I've got to win that fight. And when some people go, oh, I can't believe what they blah blah blah, like it was wrong or whatever. But obviously my family and my uncle, God rest him, they knew how much boxing meant to me, and so obviously it was delayed. And obviously after that I went to the funeral, but it's things like that when I did retire, I retired with no regrets, because I couldn't have achieved any more. The fights I lost, you get it wrong on the night, you lose. But it weren't through a lack of effort or a lack of putting the work in. You get it wrong on the night, you pay the price.
That's quite a good example. That the last big I want to speak to you about. I was with Zelfa Barrett and Jack Massey the other day, and I don't know if you've seen the video. I did a bit of a quiz with them.
I've seen it.
So do you know the answers already?
I don't know that. I mean, I should do, but obviously,
yeah.
I took a few shots, so I'm not.
Let's put you to the test. I will see how well you know Joe Gallagher. I was trying to find the bloody list of questions on my phone, but I can't. But I'm trying to remember them. But I know the first one was.
I don't know when his birthday.
How old is he?
I'm gonna say 55.
56. When is his birthday?
I think I'm gonna be wrong on this one, but I'm gonna say, is it November?
It is.
18th.
I think it was 30th from what I can remember. You got the month right, which is good. And then the other one was, what year did he win Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year?
It would have. Well, I'm thinking 2015.
Correct.
Yeah. Because that was something for the gym.
It was. And Joe's trained more than 10 British champions. Is that true or false?
It's got to be true, hasn't it? Yeah.
The only other one I can remember was this, and I found out afterwards that I was actually, well, I'll let you answer it first. Who was Joe Gallagher's first world champion?
It should have been Macklin. Because he beat, I think was Felix Stern that he fought. He should have got that. Yeah, he was robbery. I've got a clue.
Shall I give you a clue?
Go on.
He is staring at this camera right now.
Oh shit! Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, that would. Yeah. Shit. Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah, there you go. The funniest part of that is because on Google, if you Google it, it says it's Anthony Croller. Yeah. But I asked Joe about this afterwards, and Joe said it was in fact. In the ring, it was Beefy, and then Croller won it a month after. Yeah. But you won the interim, then you got made world champion.
I got elevated to world champion. So that's why I always get you always get these keyboard fucking plebs. But again, it's the like I say, I'm happy with what I've achieved, and the belt doesn't pay my bills. The money pays the bills.
That's it. That's all that matters. But it's quite an achievement for you that a coach like him will go down in history as one of the greatest. You was his first.
100%. And if I can achieve 30% of what he's done as a coach, I'd be happy with that, because what he's done as a coach and what he's achieved is, and that's why I've worked with some of the best coaches in the world all over, but the things I learned from him, the way he applies things, the way he's the best one, the other coach who I've worked with, who's, when it comes to breaking your opponent down, game plans, if there was anyone who I would phone for advice on how to, it'd be him.
You can't just sum it up there. You can't get better than that. As a compliment, you bring him up for all your advice. But Scott, always a pleasure, mate. Catching up with you, and I'll see you soon when you're even browner, almost as brown as me.
I want another 2 shades darker, and I'll be happy.
I'll be catching up with you soon. Thank you, brother.
What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power. Speed. Let your imagination do the rest.